There's something powerful that happens when words are spoken in a moment of real intimacy. Not just casual words, not rehearsed phrases, but truth. Raw, sincere truth shared in the middle of closeness. Most people think intimacy is just about the body, the touch, the chemistry. But the body can only take you so far. What truly bonds a man to a woman, what makes him remember heaven when he's far away, is how she made him feel when she was at her most open and real. And nothing opens the heart like words spoken during those vulnerable moments. When a woman allows herself to speak from her heart while they're sharing that space, it's no longer just a physical experience. It becomes emotional, energetic, and men feel that. They don't always know how to explain it, but they feel it, and it stays with them. You see, when you're deeply connected and you're both present, your words don't just land in his ears. They go deeper. They get absorbed into his emotional memory. And whether he admits it or not, those moments shape how he sees you, how he values you, and how he comes back to you again and again, even in his mind when you're not there. Because the truth is, most people don't speak real words during sex. They moan, they whisper surface-level things, they stay in the moment physically, but avoid the emotional layer. But when a woman dares to speak from her soul, when she lets him hear how deeply she feels, even if it's just one sentence, even if her voice is trembling, it shifts everything. Because she's not just giving him her body, she's letting hear what it means to be inside a heart like hers. And that creates something no other woman can duplicate. That's what real emotional bonding looks like. Imagine this: a man may sleep with many, flirt with dozens, and be admired by countless women, but only one made him feel safe enough to be fully himself. Only one whispered to his soul while holding his heart in her hands. That's the woman he compares all others to. That's the woman he doesn't forget. And it's not because she looked the best or did something wild. It's because she connected to him in a way that felt human, honest. Real words are not just communication. They are energy. And during intimacy, when the energy is already heightened, your words land with more impact than at any other time. They bypass his walls. They bypass his logic. They speak to the boy inside the man, the one who also wants to feel chosen, valued, safe, seen. And when you speak to that part of him, he begins to bond in a way that has nothing to do with just sex. He bonds with you as a person, as a presence, as a force in his life. He may not even understand why he keeps thinking of you, why he feels different when he's near you, why he respects you more than others. But it's because of what you gave him in that unguarded space. So never underestimate the power of your voice during closeness. Say what's true. Say what you feel. Let him hear the emotion in your breath. Let your words carry the meaning your heart holds back in every other area of life. Because when you speak like that, when you love like that, when you connect like that, you're no longer just a moment to him. You become unforgettable. When a woman affirms trust during intimacy, she creates a shift in the emotional dynamic between herself and the man she's with. It's more than just words. It's a transmission of vulnerability, safety, and emotional responsibility. When a man hears in the most connected moment that you trust him with parts of yourself that you've never offered to anyone else, it doesn't just flatter his ego. It stirs something deeper. It tells him that he's been chosen not just for his presence, but for the way you feel in his presence. And for a man who's emotionally available, that feeling of being trusted is magnetic. It's rare. It's grounding. It binds him to you in ways that go far beyond physical closeness. Most people chase connection through touch, but emotional intimacy is what roots loyalty. When you're lying close, your body's tangled, and your voice breaks through the silence with something like, "I trust you with this part of me." It opens a door. That door leads him to realize that he's holding more than a body. He's holding your story, your tenderness, your risk. And when you speak that truth, it makes him feel like more than just a man. It makes him feel like your protector, your safe space, your home. And men don't walk away from a woman who makes them feel that kind of purpose. That sentence, that trust, becomes a reflection of his character. You're not just telling him what he means to you. You're showing him who he is when he's with you. A woman's trust has the power to reshape how a man sees himself. It elevates him. And when he feels elevated by the way you look at him, speak to him, and believe in him, he will naturally want to live up to that vision. That's where real loyalty is born. Not from fear, not from control, but from emotional alignment. From being trusted and seen in a way that makes him want to protect what he has, not risk losing it. Many women believe they need to make a man jealous or compete for his attention to keep him invested. But the truth is, trust is the most seductive energy a woman can carry. Because most men aren't trusted. They're judged, doubted, measured. When a man finally meets a woman who opens her heart without suspicion, who lets her guard down and speaks openly without manipulating the outcome, it disarms him. He realizes he's in rare territory, and people don't abandon what they can't easily find again. Affirming trust isn't weakness. It's strength. It's saying, I know who I am. I know what I carry, and I choose to share this with you because I believe in us. It's a declaration of inner security, not dependency. And it's exactly the kind of energy that draws a man closer. He doesn't feel pressure to be perfect. He feels motivated to be better, to be more consistent, more present, more intentional. When you look at him, not just with lust, but with reverency, when you hold him and whisper, you make me feel safe. Or, I've never felt this kind of peace with someone before. You're speaking directly to his heart. You're etching your presence into his emotional memory. And long after the moment ends, that memory lingers. It echoes in his mind when he's alone, when he's tempted, when life tests him. It reminds him of the rare space he holds in your world. That kind of trust doesn't ask for loyalty. It earns it. It deserves it. And it usually gets it. When you share yourself with a man intimately, the connection goes far beyond just the physical. For a moment, the world stops. Time feels like it disappears. And in that space, something much deeper is happening. It's not just about bodies meeting. It's about souls opening. And when you bring spiritual presence into that moment, you shift everything. You create a kind of connection that goes deeper than chemistry, deeper than attraction, deeper than desire. It touches something inside him that no other woman ever has. See, a lot of people mistake intimacy for physical closeness, but physical closeness fades. Beauty changes, lust comes and goes. What stays, what lingers long after the moment is gone, is how someone made you feel, how safe you felt, how seen you were, how present they were with you, not just in their body, but in their soul. That's where the real bond is formed. And that's what makes a man feel something rare, something sacred, something he doesn't even know was looking for until he experiences it with you. Because here's the truth: most men have had sex, but few men have had their soul touched while doing it. They've had pleasure, they've had adventure, they've had intensity, but they haven't had stillness. They haven't had silence filled with meaning. They haven't had a woman look them in the eye and let her energy say, this is more than lust. This is more than fun. This is real. When you bring that kind of energy into intimacy, he feels it in a way that's impossible to explain, even to himself. He may not even know why he's thinking about you days later. Why no one else feels the same. Why even someone more physically perfect doesn't compare. It's because you touched a part of him that most people ignore. You didn't just excite him. You connected with him, and that kind of connection doesn't compete with temptation. It replaces it. Because temptation is always about something missing. But when a man is full, emotionally, spiritually, energetically, he stops looking elsewhere. He stops chasing. He feels whole, and he knows where that feeling came from. He may not say it out loud. He may not know how to describe it, but he knows the difference between someone who gave him a moment and someone who gave him something eternal. That's the power of spiritual intimacy. It's not about religion. It's not about rituals. It's about energy, presence, intention. It's about making him feel that in this moment with you, he is not just a body. He is a being, a soul, a man who is loved not just for what he gives, but for who he is. That kind of feeling doesn't fade. That kind of connection doesn't get replaced. That kind of woman doesn't get forgotten. So when you're with him, don't just give your body. Give your presence. Give your softness. Let your eyes speak truth. Let your energy be calm, centered, and sure, because that's what anchors him. That's what grounds him. That's what makes him feel safe. And once a man experiences safety and depth with a woman, shallow things don't appeal to him anymore. He loses interest in surface-level attraction. He forgets the thrill of meaningless attention. Because what he's found in you is something far more powerful, something sacred, something rare, a spiritual connection, one that outshines and outweighs every physical temptation. Every time. There's something undeniably powerful about a woman who chooses love rather than clings to it out of need. When you choose someone from a place of strength, not desperation, it shifts the energy of the entire relationship. Men can feel that difference. Need can feel heavy, like pressure, like something he has to live up to or fix. But choice feels like freedom. And when a man feels that you're with him because you want him, not because you need him, he shows up with more presence, more intention, and more love. See, need often comes from fear. Fear of being alone, fear not being enough, fear of losing someone. And when we're driven by fear, we begin to grasp, to hold too tightly, to question, to demand. We try to control things because we're terrified of what will happen if they fall apart. But that energy isn't attractive. It pushes people away. It creates emotional tension. And over time, it makes a man feel like he's responsible for your happiness, which is a burden, not a bond. But when you're standing in your own worth, when you know who you are and you love deeply because your heart is full, not starving, that's when your love becomes magnetic. You're not chasing him. You're not trying to prove your value. You're showing up as a complete person who simply chooses to share her energy, her heart, her time, and her body with someone who's earned access to that space. And when a man senses that you could walk away and still be whole, still be powerful, still be grounded, but you choose to stay, that's what makes him stay too. That's what makes him think twice before ever risking losing you. A man doesn't commit deeply because a woman clings to him. He commits because she inspires him, because he feels safe with her, because he respects the way she holds herself. And that kind of power doesn't come from needing love. It comes from choosing it again and again with someone who makes you feel seen and honored. When you say to a man, I'm here because I want to be, not because I'm afraid to be alone, that tells him your presence is a gift, not a demand. Think about how that lands in his heart. He doesn't feel like you're leaning on him to complete you. He feels like he's being invited into something rare and valuable. A woman who is emotionally rich on her own, and yet opens herself up to share that richness with him. And that's when a man wants to protect what he has. That's when he doesn't go looking for attention elsewhere. Because he knows that what he's getting with you isn't based on insecurity. It's based on deep alignment and emotional truth. You never have to beg for love when you lead with wholeness. You never have to fear being left when your sense of self isn't tied to someone else's presence. Let your love be a conscious choice, not a silent plea. That's what makes you unforgettable. That's what makes you the woman who doesn't just take space in his bed, but in his heart, in his memory, and in his loyalty. A woman who knows she doesn't need him but still wants him. That's the one he never wants to lose. Your voice can become his internal anchor in a way no one else's ever could. Not because it's louder, not because it's more seductive, but because of what it carries, your truth, your intention, your soul. See, when a man is physically with you, his guard might be down, his mind might be open, but it's what you say that stays with him long after that moment is over. Your voice becomes the echo that follows him into silence, into decisions, into distance. It's not just sound, it's memory, and it anchors him emotionally to the experience of being loved by you in a way that goes far beyond the body. Think about it. There are men who have been with women physically, but when they walk away, they carry nothing with them. No trace, no emotion, no memory that truly marks them. But then there are women who, with just a few words spoken in raw intimacy, remain unforgettable. Their voice lives in the man's head, not like a song, but like a truth, a grounding force, a presence he returns to in his thoughts, whether he wants to or not. And this happens not because she tried to manipulate him, but because she spoke from a place of deep emotional clarity. When a woman says something vulnerable while her heart is open, while her body is open, while the energy between them is soft and real, those words don't just go to his ears. They go straight into the places inside him that most people never reach. He may never tell you this. He may not even fully realize it himself. But when he's away from you, when temptation shows up, when distractions appear, it's your voice, that soft, strong, loving voice that reappears in his mind like a compass. It reminds him who he is when he's with you. It reminds him of the man he wants to be for you. It grounds him. It settles the chaos. Because your voice isn't just sexy. It's safe. It's not just pleasing. It's purposeful. When you speak to his soul while you're closest to him, you're not just bonding, you're shaping how he remembers you, how he thinks of intimacy, how he defines emotional safety. And safety for a man who's spent years pretending not to feel is magnetic. Once he experiences it, he'll crave it more than he craves attention, more than he craves novelty, even more than he craves beauty. So the next time you're with him, don't underestimate the power of your voice. You don't need to be poetic or perfect. You just need to be real. Say what you feel. Speak from your truth. Let your tone carry your softness. Let your words carry your meaning. Let your energy be calm, grounded, and sure. That's what anchors him. That's what makes him feel emotionally tied to you, not in fear, but in comfort. That's what builds the type of memory that outlives the moment. And that's why, when the world tries to pull him in 100 directions, your voice is the one he remembers. The one he comes home to. The one that becomes his anchor even when you're not in the room. You don't beg for loyalty, you emanate it. Because real loyalty doesn't come from pleading, convincing, or performing. It comes from presence. It comes from the quiet confidence of a woman who knows what she brings, knows what she's worth, and knows that love built on force isn't love at all. When you carry yourself with the energy of self-respect, with the posture of someone who doesn't chase what doesn't align with her, you naturally command a kind of loyalty that no threat, no ultimatum, no argument ever could. There's something deeply magnetic about a woman who doesn't try to control love, who simply embodies it. She doesn't fight for a man's attention. She doesn't scream to be heard. She doesn't need to constantly remind him of her value because her value is quietly present in every word she speaks, in how she touches him, in how she carries herself in silence. When a man feels that kind of energy from a woman, not fear, not insecurity, not pressure, but calm self-assurance, he starts seeing her differently. Not just as a partner, but as a place he doesn't want to lose. A safe home in a chaotic world. A mirror of what peace and power look like when they live inside a woman. This is the energy that changes the game. The kind that makes a man question every past relationship where he was allowed to float, to drift, to disappear.